seed for Session 1 of today's 2022 Eagle Championship, featuring the UNH Wildcats, the Temple Owls, the LIU Sharks, and the Pittsburgh Panthers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our teams. First, please welcome the Wildcats from the University of New Hampshire. A junior from West Warwick, Rhode Island, Alyssa Worthington. A sophomore from Bethpage, New York, Jenna DiVincenzo. A freshman from Audubon, New Jersey, Summer Simpkins. A senior from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Hannah Baddick. A fifth-year co-captain from Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania, Lauren Diggin. A senior from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, Mariella Mealy. A junior from Houston, Texas, JC Whitehead. A freshman from Holyoke, Massachusetts, Alyssa Bollier. A sophomore from East Greenbush, New York, Maya MacDonald. A junior from Wakefield, Massachusetts, Robin Kelly. A fifth-year co-captain from Sewell, New Jersey, Kylie Cratchwell. A junior from Las Vegas, Nevada, Kennedy Brown. A senior from Aberdeen, New Jersey, Allie Kusich. A junior from North Reading, Massachusetts, Kylie Gorgani. A freshman from Middleton, Massachusetts, Gracie Mowers. A sophomore from Wallingford, Connecticut, Sierra Bauman. A sophomore from East Northport, New York, Gia Graver. A junior from Belmont, Massachusetts, Larissa Biette. And a senior from Collegeville, Pennsylvania, Haley Louie. The head coach of the Wildcats is Lindsay Buck-Ayotte. She is assisted by Steve Avgerinos and Amanda Fillard. Next up, please welcome the Owls from Temple University. A sophomore from Matawan, New Jersey, Mackenzie Aresta. A junior from West Hartford, Connecticut, Hannah Barry. A junior from Gainesville, Florida, Madison Brooks. A junior from Waldorf, Maryland, Ariana Castrense. A freshman from Cumming, Georgia, Jewel Clark. A sophomore from Maple Valley, Washington, Brooke Donabedian. A freshman from Waterford, Connecticut, Madison Derunda. A graduate student from Haymarket, Virginia, Tori Edwards. A senior from Newington, Connecticut, Caitlin Gray. A freshman from Abingdon, Maryland, Anna Hill. A sophomore from Sewanee, Georgia, Lainey Hyman. A graduate student from Cincinnati, Ohio, Faith Leary. A sophomore from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, Lauren Morris. A junior from Lumberton, New Jersey, Juliana Rowland. A freshman from Taneytown, Maryland, Summer Rusky. A sophomore from Smithtown, New York, Renee Shugman. A freshman from Shillington, Pennsylvania, Sydney Seibert. A senior from Jacksonville, Florida, Nicole Smith. A freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, Hannah Stallings. A freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, Sarah Stallings. A sophomore from Alexandria, Virginia, Mia Rose Thaxton. A sophomore from Beaufort, Georgia, Serena Whalen. And a freshman from Bowie, Maryland, Danae Williams. The head coach of the Owls is Josh Nelson. He is assisted by Rachel Page and Kirsten Sokolowski. Next up, the Sharks from Long Island University. A junior from Midland, Ontario, Canada, Nika Takagi. A sophomore from Simi Valley, California, Riley Goldberg. A junior from Stony Brook, New York, Amanda Liu. A sophomore from Palmyra, Pennsylvania, Kale Bixler. A sophomore from Loganville, Georgia, Jalea Bidminster. A sophomore from Melbourne, Australia, Talia Folino. A sophomore from Dublin, Ohio, Lauren Miller. A freshman from Baytown, Texas, Carson Foster. A sophomore from Rincon, Georgia, Taylor Doughton. A freshman from Vancouver, British Columbia, Ilka Juk. A sophomore from Zutphen, Netherlands, Mara Ticharsole. A freshman from Loveland, Colorado, Kira Sanchez. A sophomore from Belleville, Illinois, Reagan Jones. A sophomore from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Ella Barrington. A freshman from Denver, Colorado, Madison Bradley. A freshman from Kanaho, Hawaii, Katie Koopman. A sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia, Ella Castellanos. And a sophomore from Markham, Ontario, Alana Ricketts. The head coach of the Sharks is Randy Lane. He is assisted by Haley Mossett and Lauren Marinez. Next up, the Panthers from the University of Pittsburgh. A freshman from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Jordan Ewing. A junior from Prince Frederick, Maryland, Sierra Ward. A senior from Simi Valley, California, Katie Chamberlain. A junior from Westerville, Ohio, Lauren Beckwith. A freshman from Leighton Buzzard, England, Haley Copperwheat. A freshman from Ann Arbor, Michigan, Sydney Washington. A junior from Greensboro, North Carolina, Christina Weiss. A senior from Sunbury, Pennsylvania, Kylie Robotin. A junior from Plano, Texas, Erin Hutchison. A graduate student from Beach City, Texas, Kaylee Gillings. And a senior from Mountaintop, Pennsylvania, Caitlin Klein. The head coach of the Panthers is Samantha Snyder. She is assisted by Ryan Snyder and Amanda Wellick. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
first of two sessions of the Eagle Gymnastics Championships takes place in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. The Charles E. Smith Center is the site of the 2022 championships, and the afternoon session about to get underway as 4 of the 8 teams in the Eagle vie for a conference crown today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kevin Kopp alongside Christina Chauvenet. Christina, it is finally here, the date that has been circled for all of these teams, and just as a gymnastics lover and a fan of the sport, it doesn't get any better than this. We have 8 teams competing for a championship. We'll see the 4 lower-seeded teams this afternoon, but the conference champion could very well be one of the 4 here today. You've got Pitt, New Hampshire, LIU, and Temple, all part of the 8 teams that are going to vie for an Eagle crown.
Absolutely. We're going to see some great gymnastics today. And remember, you talked about Temple coming in as that number 7 seed. They were the surprise champions last year. So, yes, these are the 4 lower-ranked teams. What they have the opportunity to do here is to set a high number, put some pressure on those evening session teams, and there are some teams in this session that absolutely can do that. Yeah, that's going to be the name of the game for each of these 4 teams. And Christina, one thing that you and I have seen covering the Eagle in the regular season, the level has been raised across the board, and that's going to be one of the themes as we talk about the 4 teams that are your lower-ranked teams here in this afternoon session. They are capable of winning a title as we look at our schedule of events for this marathon day here in Washington, D.C. The afternoon session will see UNH, Pitt, Temple, and LIU. And in the evening session tonight will be the 4 top-seeded teams, Towson, NC State, George Washington are hosts this afternoon and this evening, and UNC will have the award ceremony for both individuals and the team championship to be handed out following the evening session tonight. As we said, Temple won the Eagle Championship last year in their first year in the conference. They were a surprise winner. They are the number 7 seed here this afternoon, so they would certainly qualify as a surprise here again, Christina, if they were to knock it out. But as we go through the 4 teams here this afternoon, we're going to begin with the Pitt Panthers, who are actually the top-seeded team of the 4 in this afternoon's competition. They're NQS 195.860, best for 42nd in the country overall, 5th place in the Eagle. Yeah, I think of the teams in this afternoon session, Pitt probably has the highest potential scoring, and they have scored in the mid-196s several times this season. The challenge for Pitt is that they've also had some scores in the 194s, been a little bit inconsistent this season. If they can put together 4 strong events, they absolutely will be able to put pressure on those evening teams and can score with them.
Up next, the 6th seed in the Eagle, 45th overall in the country, 195.625 NQS for the New Hampshire team that, Christina, is just happy to be back after having to withdraw from the Eagle Championships last year due to COVID protocol issues. Just glad to be back and a chance to get back in the mix, because this was a team that was a real power in this conference just a couple years ago.
Absolutely. We talked to Coach Brooke Ayotte about that at the beginning, just about how happy they were to be here. These athletes are competing on podium, which is very exciting. It gives it that conference championship feel. And New Hampshire hasn't been in that 196 scoring threshold this season, though Lindsey Brooke Ayotte did tell us that they are finally getting their lineups together, had some challenges due to COVID earlier in the season, and scored in the high 195s in their last meet. So they are picking up momentum. The question will be, are they going to be able to continue to pick up momentum into this championship? But they're a beautiful team to watch, especially on beam and floor.
All right, we've mentioned them a couple times already. 7th seed in this competition, the Temple Owls, the team that came in their first year in the conference last year, took home the crown. They are 46th overall in the country, 195.595 NQS. Christina, this is a case of a team with a really high ceiling, and you've mentioned that word consistency. It just hasn't been there for Temple this year the way that they would like.
Yeah, I commentated when they broke their program record, got a 196.675 at NC State. That was the meet that really everything came together for them. We talked to Coach Josh Nielsen before the meet, and he said, we talk about that meet. We weren't perfect at that meet. We did have some falls here and there. He wants his team to be relaxed, not be over-focused on perfection. The challenge for them is, and you see him chatting with his team there, they are starting on bars. That is their weakest event, challenging to start on.
Yeah, we're going to know what kind of day it's going to be for Temple pretty quickly. Last but certainly not least, Christina, LIU, the 8th seed overall, 55th in the country, but an NQS of 194.3, and already that shows you what an improvement this program has made. It's just their 2nd season in existence. Head coach Randy Lane has done a phenomenal job building this program from scratch.
Absolutely. Last year, for reference, their NQS was a 192.2, so 2-point improvement. That is gigantic, and they're not in the same scoring don't have the same maximum scoring potential as some of these other teams, but a beautiful team to watch. I'm so excited for the growth of this program and the way that they have become more consistent this season. We're going to see some beautiful gymnastics.
All right, all of the pomp and circumstance out of the way. We are finally ready to get the afternoon session of the 2022 Eagle Championships underway. UNH is going to start on vault, Temple will be on bars, LIU will be on beam, and Pitt will be on floor. And a look here at LIU. Leading off will be Cale Bixler, the sophomore for the Sharks.
And, you know, talk to Coach Randy Lane about this athlete, and he said she has done such a good job growing into this leadoff role. Back handspring layout, step out really clean there. Cat leap into aerial. Would like to see a little bit better positioning on that cat leap, some higher leg position and turnout, but she made that connection nicely. Of course, that dance acro required, either a dance acro or the dance element connected directly to a dance, which she did there. And gearing up for her dismount here. You know, the leadoff position is so critical in all events, but especially beam. Little hop, but really strong start for LIU.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And on beam, such a make-or-break event to be able to rely on a sophomore because they don't really have upperclassmen. Again, just their second season. And Bixler steps in and delivers a hit routine. Over to UNH now on vault. One vault underway. It was Larissa Biette that led off, and you were looking at Mariella Mealy up in the second spot for UNH. 4 judge panels, Christina. Things may take a little bit longer as you'll throw out the high and low score, average the middle 2.
But I like that scoring in the postseason, making it a little bit more consistent, less subject to some of those out-of-range scores.
Yeah, and remember that basically, you know, the judges have the exceedingly hard job of measuring the afternoon teams against the evening teams. It's just one champion out of the 8, and you know, you want to see consistency. These teams, especially here in this afternoon session, want to see consistency across the board.
Yeah. And Hannah Stallings in the background got Temple off to a strong start on bars.
Yeah, again, that has been statistically their weakest event, as is vault for UNH. So you have New Hampshire and Temple, 2 teams that are starting out on your weakest event. You want to do well here in the first rotation, get that one out of the way, and say, okay, now we can really take some momentum with us the rest of the afternoon here.
And actually, when Temple was at NC State, you know, we talked to the coaching staff about this before the meet. They started on bars, and that's when they got their program record. So they absolutely can do it. They just need to, you know, keep that confidence going through this rotation. And I think if they can do that, they're going to have a great rest of their meet.
You're waiting on the opening score there on the left side of your screen for freshman Hannah Stallings. Started her career in the all-around. We'll do 3 events today for Temple. Up second will be Caitlin Gray.
And you see Talia Foligno there on beam. Oh, too bad. You know, I thought that her hips looked pretty square when she went for her back handspring, but just didn't have the foot positioning on landing. Nice aerial to split jump connection there, though. I really like how she keeps her legs stretched through the entire aerial. Talia from Melbourne, Australia. Aerial to full dismount. Nice recovery, obviously not the routine that she wanted.
You can see in the background of your screen in that top left corner the routine from Caitlin Gray. Delivered a stuck landing for Temple. Something that Josh Nielsen will hope can be contagious for his team here in the first rotation. So 2 routines down, and now getting a look for Pitt at freshman Jordan Ewing. Second team All-Eagle on floor after the opening routine from Lauren Beckwith.
And I love to watch her on floor. She's such a powerful athlete. You know, we talked to Coach Sam Snyder about this team, said, you know, they have these 3 freshmen, they call them the big 3, that are contributing a lot of routines. So you're going to see Haley Copperwheat, you're going to see Sydney Washington, and then, of course, Jordan Ewing, and she is really powerful, has made such an impact on this Pitt team. And by the way, Sam Snyder surprised them with these new leotards last night, so she said the team was thrilled with them, because obviously you got to up your Leo game for Eagle Championships, Kevin.
Well, it's become one of those things, right, that, you know, one team does it and everyone says, oh, wait a minute, a new post, you know, and we've actually talked to a lot of coaching staffs. Temple's is new. There's a couple of new ones that are going to be debuted throughout both halves of our competition tonight. All right, opening score for Pitt, a 9-2-5 for Lauren Beckwith. And so already Pitt and LIU under the gun a little bit, Christina, with an early score that they would like to drop. And so some pressure on the left side as you look at the vault on your right from senior Hannah Baddock.
And nice Yurchenko full there. That Yurchenko full starting out of the 9.95. Most of the vaults we see today will start out of 9.95. Huge double back. Didn't quite keep that front foot down, but she's so powerful.
And on the right side of your screen, freshman Sarah Stallings, twin sister of Temple's Hannah Stallings, who led off the meet for the Owls.
Nice piked Jaeger there. Really nice stuck landing on bars. Huge 1.5 to front layout. She keeps rising through that front layout. And that landing was rock solid.
Well, it's a tough spot to be in. True freshman, first conference championship experience, and you got to do it after a 9.25 with some pressure on you right away. Shows you why she was second team All-Eagle on floor. That's a terrific routine.
Yeah, also a 3-star rated recruit by College Gym News. Really has been so consistent for them. And the performance quality that she has just as a freshman, I think, is really impressive.
All right, up fourth for New Hampshire. Speaking of freshmen, this is Gracie Mowers.
And the Yurchenko half there. Nice job. You know, New Hampshire not sticking these landings, but they're having solid vaults in the air, and that's really what they want to say, what they want to do. You know, their really strong events are beam and floor, and so that's where they want to shine, as you said earlier, just trying to, you know, kind of get through this vault rotation with some consistent scores.
All right, checking in with Temple. Up fourth for the Owls is going to be junior Madison Brooks. Following her will be sophomore Brooke Donabedian, and then in the anchor spot, Temple's lone all-arounder, Ariana Castrense. Look at Pitt now on floor, waiting on the score from that terrific routine we saw from Jordan Ewing. Up third is going to be Erin Hutchinson, and we'll go back to bars now. Here is Maddie Brooks.
And she has a huge Tkachev. Does this toe on, not just huge over the bar. You know, a little bit loss of form there as she re-caught, but I love the height she gets on that. Short on that pirouetting element, but manages to connect that into the double back. In those full pirouetting elements, the gymnasts have a 20-degree margin of error, as opposed to when they're just casting to handstand, they have a 10-degree margin of error. So probably will incur a deduction because she was quite late when she completed the pirouette, but keeping that connection, very important. Remember, these athletes have to complete up to the level. That means you have to do either an E dismount or a D dismount in combination, which is what she did there.
Two more to go here for Temple on bars as we look the left side of your screen. New Hampshire on vault. That is Kylie Gorgani, first team All-Eagle on vault, so one to keep an eye on there is on the right side of your screen, junior Erin Hutchinson for Pitt.
And Kylie is very powerful on vault. best full we've seen.
Yeah.
Just huge
Yeah.
dynamics.
All right, now look at Aaron Hutchinson's season-high score of 9.85 for Pitt, coming after a terrific routine from freshman Jordan Ewing.
Just lost the split there in that second element and had some directionality issues.
Left side of your screen on beam for LIU. Remember, an earlier fall for the Sharks, so all of these are pressure routines, and a good job there despite the big balance check for Taylor Dotton.
1.5 to front layout. Would have liked to see a little bit more rise through that front layout. But really nice routine, you know, struggled a little bit with that dance combo in the middle, but these next athletes in the lineup are really doing their jobs of getting Pitt back on track.
And now we'll come full screen and get to check out here the end of this routine for Dotton.
Oh, and just didn't get the punch off the beam to set it up. You know, we have a moniker sort of flip then twist. I think she twisted a little bit early off the beam. Landed in that low squat.
And you hate that there after such a good start. 9-8 right out of the gate for Bixler, and you think that could kind of open up your day a little bit. Just has not gone exactly the way LIU would have envisioned. As we take a look at bars now, Brooke Donabedian, Temple sophomore.
Big Ginger there. Little leg separation on her recatch, and I think a little shy on that bail to handstand. Sticks that double back. You know, she was shy and struggled there on vault. You know, she was shy on the full pirouette, but managed to pull it back and stick it. So that's nice to see.
And unfortunately there, Lauren Diggin, the fifth year for UNH, had to put her hand down on that vault. So that will be the number that UNH drops. It means they're going to have to carry an earlier 9.6 from Mealy. And again, we said for both Temple and UNH, it's kind of, this is the survive rotation. It has not been their strongest event this year. They'll certainly build as the meet goes. They've got the home rotation, the Olympic rotation, and they'll finish on floor where they are very, very good.
Absolutely.
All right, on the left side of your screen for Pitt, that is Haley Copperwheat, who's going to begin her afternoon in the all-around. That is a name you'll be hearing plenty of. And on the right side of your screen for LIU, up fifth is going to be Alana Ricketts.
And our viewers are in for a treat. I mean, both these athletes, you're going to see beautiful gymnastics on different events simultaneously. I love Alana's lines on beam. Really nice flexibility, really shows off her toe point. I mean, Hallie Copperwheat has been such a rock star for Pittsburgh. Certainly, in my mind, one of the favorites coming in to win the all-around. And she will almost certainly qualify for regionals as an individual. Haven't talked too much about regional qualifications yet today, but just as a reminder, all 4 of these teams in the afternoon session are mathematically out of regionals. They cannot advance, but individuals can advance, and certainly several of them from this session will advance as individuals to regionals.
Yeah, if you think your head is spinning now with all the split screens and events going on, we'll start getting into regional qualification. Then you can really, all right, both routines underway here. Pitt on floor, LIU on beam.
Very nicely controlled double back. Oh, and just under-rotated that aerial a little bit for Alana. Just not LIU's day on beam. Really too bad because, as I said, Alana has really nice lines on beam.
Well, and the hit scores have been great. A 9.8 and a 9.775, and unfortunately, you know, the misses are what's going to define this rotation a bit for the Sharks.
And Copperwheat there, you know, under-rotated a little bit on her front layout, but she's such a, you know, she's such an experienced gymnast, even though she's only a freshman, was on the English national team. Lots of competitive experience, so she managed to finesse that landing. Difficult, really difficult 1.5 out of that back handspring. Loved that, and she stuck that. Nice for her to end that routine on a high note. I mean, Hallie Copperwheat, so good to see her in NCAA. You know, I love seeing more international gymnasts come to NCAA. Pittsburgh obviously has been recruiting folks from abroad. LIU, lots of international gymnasts, which I think was a great recruiting strategy, by the way, for Randy Lane as he started the program. But I just love to see that diversity in NCAA.
Oh, absolutely, and you get this where you get, you know, you say, oh my gosh, Copperwheat, a freshman in the all-around, but she's so seasoned.
Absolutely.
They come with them really fully formed. They bring that whole package, and I think, Christina, it's part of what makes this day so fun. I mean, you've got great gymnasts across the board. So many of them are young. This conference took a big leap forward this year, I think you would say, top to bottom. And when you look at, oh my gosh, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, still extra eligibility floating out there because of the COVID season.
Absolutely.
It's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
All right, Temple and UNH have completed their first rotation.
And speaking of the talent coming in, Sydney Washington, another one of the big three, as Sam Snyder calls them. You know, and I think across, you know, we have these Olympic champions competing in NCAA, Sunisa Lee, Jade Carey, of course, lots of other Olympic medalists competing in NCAA. And really, I think not just the Olympians, but across the board, there is more talent in NCAA gymnastics than ever before. And it's just really exciting to see the sport continue to elevate, continue to grow. You know, Fisk University just announced they're adding a gymnastics team, first HBCU, to add gymnastics. So I think particularly having Sunisa Lee and Jade Carey coming into college, it's elevated the presence of the sport. It's so exciting. But some of these athletes coming out of JO, they can go in the college setting, they can go toe-to-toe with some of those elite athletes.
Yeah, and you know, NIL, name, image, and likeness legislation is a part of it, that these gymnasts have a chance to capitalize on that. There's so much that makes this an exciting time in college athletics, and particularly in this sport right now. So we are back underway with Pitt on the left side of your screen. Sydney Washington, the other freshman all-arounder, first team All-Eagle on this event. And on beam in the anchor spot, freshman Ilka Juk.
And Ilka Juk just missed her mount there, but she did an excellent round-off back handspring onto the beam. She's a lovely gymnast, one of my favorites to watch on this event in NCAA.
Second team All-Eagle, season and career high of 9.925 this season.
And just a little bit labored in that leap connection. Oh, just a little extra bounce there on floor. Remember, these athletes are on podium, and it is known for being a bit bouncier than the regular floor. Ilka Juk, just gorgeous. Stunning on beam. And I love the way that she actually performs on beam. And check this dismount out. Full twisting back handspring to the full. Love it. Yeah, and you know, not the cleanest of landings from Washington, just a little bit bouncy on some of those landings, but strong performance overall.
Well, and Pitt had to make a couple of late changes after warm-ups, and so we're going to see senior Kylie Robotin go in the anchor spot. I think the hope was kind of slide everyone up, put Robotin in a spot where you can cushion her a little bit, hit 5 routines. That wasn't the case, as Pitt dug themselves into a little bit of trouble with that 9.25 right off the bat. Now, they've hit 4 since, and it's going to be a pressure spot here for Robotin, and she'll have the eyes of the entire arena on her as UNH, Temple, and LIU have all finished up here in the first rotation.
Yeah, this is a really critical routine.
We've got a little lull now and a chance to catch you up on some scores with UNH and Temple's numbers in. Temple in the lead at the moment, 48.975 for the Owls. The high score, a 9.85 in the middle of the lineup from Sarah Stallings. You had 9.775s from Brooke Donabedian, Caitlin Gray, and Hannah Stallings in the opening spot. 9.675 for Madison Brooks was dropped, and then a 9.8 from Ariana Castrense in the anchor spot. 48.975. The magic number is 49.
Right.
You multiply that by 4, that's a 196. it's probably not going to be enough to get it done today, given the quality of competition. I think you're going to need to push into the mid-196s, so you're looking at low 49s across the board, kind of being the target score.
Yeah, I agree. I think that certainly this competition will be won with a 196 and probably something in that range that you mentioned, 196.5. And, you know, you saw before this routine Amanda Wellick giving a little pep talk to Kylie Robotin. Wellick, an All-American at Arkansas, so certainly a good person to give you a pep talk before floor. Just a little stutter step on that double back, but nice in the air.
Robotin's only been in the floor lineup one time this entire season, 9.55 back in February.
And, you know, she was pretty under-rotated coming out of that front full, but you can tell she's determined, got that punch front around. Huge performance from Kylie Robotin. I mean, the pressure that she was under, as you mentioned, not having been in the lineup. Of course, she's been training floor. It's not that she hasn't, but has not been in that position. For her to come through with that performance, so clutch.
Yeah, huge for Pitt. They'll get to drop that opening 9.25 score. They're going to shoot up, and we're going to step away for a moment. We'll have a chance to tally up our first rotation scores, but we've got one in the books here in the afternoon session, and we'll be back with the second rotation from the Charles E. Smith Center in Washington, D.C. when we continue watching the 2022 Eagle Gymnastics Championships here on ESPN. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Kopp, Christina Chauvenet with you here on the campus of George Washington University. It is one rotation complete here, second one about to get underway. It's the afternoon session of the Eagle Championships. UNH, Temple, LIU, and Pitt in the first rotation. And Christina, let's take a look at some highlights, and we'll begin with Temple over on bars. We said this has kind of been the bugaboo for them this year, and they got through it with 6-hit routines.
Yeah, you know, I think Temple is looking really good right now because, as we mentioned at the top, this has been a really inconsistent event for them, and they did a nice job, got a score in that high, that almost breaking 49. So they are moving to some really strong events for them, and they could definitely break into that 196 range.
That was a look at Brooke Donabedian for Temple. Ariana Castrense here in the anchor spot had a 9.8. We're going to see her in the all-around today, and she is one of those individual hopefuls, as the team is not going to qualify to regionals, but Castrense certainly could in the all-around.
Yeah, and she actually needs an all-around NQS because they have rested her some throughout the season. You know, talked to Coach Nelson about that and just said, like, she is a senior, wanting to pace her, and so she actually needs this score to get an NQS to qualify for regionals. I do presume she will qualify for regionals. She's such a stunning all-arounder. I mean, just so powerful. And, you know, Coach Nelson told me he has to work to slow her down.
For Pitt, it was a rotation of highs and lows on floor. They got off to a tough start with a 9.25 from Lauren Beckwith, but we saw some really beautiful routines from the Panthers as well.
Absolutely. Hallie Copperwheat there you're seeing. You know, just a really strong overall rotation. Sydney Washington there you're seeing.
And then LIU on beam, same type of thing. The highs were high and the lows were low, unfortunately, for LIU. Some great scores. 3 of 9.775 or above, but unfortunately 3 scores of 9.275 were below.
But Ilka Juk, such a highlight of that rotation for me. Gorgeous routine.
And back for Pitt, again, it started poorly and ended a little poorly. Robotin delivered a big hit routine. Unfortunately, only 9.325. That's a number that they'll have to keep because of that opening 9.25.
Yeah, and I wonder if she was meaning to lay out that middle pass, the front full, and then she did a front tuck. She might have, because I commented she had been under rotated, she might have been meaning to do that in a layout position. So that may have contributed to it.
All right, so here are your team scores at the end of one rotation. You have Temple on top with a 48.975. UNH opens in second, 48.575 on vault. Pitt in third, 48.425, and then that's actually LIU at the bottom there, 47.750. The Sharks on beam. Again, with some great individual performances, just a couple of falls that they had to take on that event, and so now the interesting thing, Christina, you look at Pitt digging themselves a little bit of a hole after floor. We said that Temple and New Hampshire had their weakest event statistically up first. Well, they both got out of the way relatively unscathed and now have their big events where they can start to score.
Yeah, and I think Temple, again, getting so close to that 49, they are really going to be able, they are moving to beam, so that's a challenging event to move to. You have to channel that energy, stay calm in this very exciting setup. But, I think, and bars for New Hampshire has been a little bit up and down as well. So really, as I mentioned, their star events are beam and floor. So even if they are a little behind coming into beam and floor, watch for them to pull up in the standings.
Yeah, they've certainly got the highest ceiling on those last two events, though they've gone 49.325 on bars this season, so certainly capable of delivering a big number here. And Temple, meanwhile, goes to beam, where they've set their program record on beam this season, 49.325 earlier this year, so that's an event that they feel pretty confident about, and for LIU and Pitt, it's about putting some of that early disappointment behind you. You don't want to take yourself out of it here after one rotation. Pitt especially, who comes in as the highest seeded team in this competition, I think they feel really strong that they could be the ones that are kind of the clubhouse leader, and that you take your chances and you see how the numbers stack up against the evening squads.
Absolutely. And, for LIU, they have some lovely routines on floor. Really artistic team, really expressive team that we're going to see. So, again, there is no defense in gymnastics. It's all about putting together these routines, coming back from that lackluster rotation. But I'm really looking forward to seeing LIU on floor.
All right, final few seconds ticking down off of our touch warm-up clock. In the second rotation, UNH will be on bars, Temple on beam, LIU on floor, and Pitt goes to vault.
And, we talked about, just to remind viewers where we are with regional qualification. This meet counts the same as any other meet for national qualifying score. So you will see a little bit of jockeying in the standings. So in the evening sessions, we will keep you up to date. We do have two teams, North Carolina and Towson, that are bubble teams for regionals. These teams are all mathematically out. They cannot qualify. They do have individuals that can qualify, but the individual qualification for regionals gets very complicated based on what teams end up qualifying. So we're not going to be able to tell you a number, though there are several people in this session that I presume will qualify, looking at New Hampshire, Alyssa Worthington, Haley Louis. I'm sure they will qualify to regionals. So, there's going to be a lot of jockeying over the next over this evening. College gym news, balance beam situation, of course, your go-to resources for all of those scenarios.
Yeah, we thank them for being able to just make us sound like we reasonably have our hands wrapped around it, which we barely do.
Yeah.
We'll be watching them or reading them just like you would be at home today. And Christina, you mentioned the two bubble teams in Towson and UNC. That's going to be one of our big storylines tonight. We should mention that one team has already qualified. That's NC State.
Absolutely.
Regardless of what happens today, they are high up enough in the national rankings coming in today at number 28 that they are secure no matter what. So with all that said, here we go. Second rotation underway. First vault down the runway, freshman Summer Simpkins for Pitt.
And tuck full starts from a 9.9, but did a nice job there at a good chest position on landing.
Now coming full screen to look at Temple, opening up on balance beam sophomore Renee Shugman.
And I love that combination, aerial. So rarely see that in NCAA gymnastics. The athletes are required to do an acrobatic series on beam. Of course, the back handspring layout step out being what we most commonly see. Too bad. Those side summies really tricky.
as we get a look on the left side of your screen on floor, Ella Barrington opening things up for LIU on floor.
A nice opening pass. I like that dance combo as well. And goes for that difficult triple turn. Maybe let her heel down just a bit early, but love to see that difficulty on floor. I love this performance quality. Nice chest position on that 1.5 to front layout. Really nice routine there. And speaking of the Leo alert, this is the Leo that Mara Titar-Soleil got her 10 in. So they are bringing in the Leo that got the 10, hoping to create some good juju around that.
You want some good vibes.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to
be... And
I
love the Leo, by the way.
It is, yes. It's fantastic, and yes, you're absolutely right. You want to do whatever you can do to recapture that moment as we take a look here at the second vault for Pitt.
Yeah, you know, Copperwheat, such a dynamic athlete, didn't quite get that landing, but gets really nice block off the table. By that, I mean that rise. We really want to see these athletes not twist right off the table, but get themselves up in the air, again, flip then twist, and she does a nice job of that.
And of course, as I put $1 in the jar here, I flipped my names. Christina Weiss was in the opening spot for Pitt with the first vault. That is Copperwheat up second. Though, I should mention, even though we didn't get to see it on camera, Summer Simpkins did deliver a beautiful bars routine for UNH. That's where she was leading off, delivered a great stuck landing for the Wildcats, and they will have Jenna DiVincenzo up second as soon as we get those opening scores for Simpkins. Looking there at Katie Koopman as she sees herself on the big screen in the arena. Yeah. That's what you want, right? When you're waiting, you're saying, "Oh, come on, let's let the judges hurry up," and then you get to see yourself up there on the big board. But Koopman will be one to watch on floor for sure. As we'll go back over to bars now. Up second for UNH, DiVincenzo.
And gearing up for her dismount here. Nice body position in the air. Didn't quite get that landing, but, you know, you see a lot of athletes having to labor to get that double layout around. She did a really nice job.
All right, big routine here for Temple. Summer Ruskey, freshman, following an opening fall. They're all big routines from here on out for the Owls.
Absolutely, and just a little bit hesitant in that connection into her front toss, but managed to work through it.
All right, on vault, up third, Sierra Ward.
And she can really take that one into the rafters. Again, didn't quite get that landing, but nice dynamics.
Pitt halfway home on vault as we come back to beam, and now getting underway on floor, the aforementioned Katie Koopman.
And just a little overcooked that triple twist there a little bit. Very difficult. And getting Temple back on pace. You know, she had some rhythm breaks throughout the routine. I think that's normal when you're going up after a fall, but important for her to stay on and keep and get right the ship, as it were. Yeah, Temple got through what has been statistically their worst event this season, bars, unscathed and facing their first adversity here on beam with the early fall from Shugman. And that is Hallie Mosette in the background that you see, gymnast at UCLA, All-American, and one of the great floor performers at UCLA. She does the choreography for these routines. And I love the choreography. I think she's done a great job with them. Nice combo there to finish. The 2.5 to punch front. Obviously a very natural twister. Got a little bit out of control on that triple full, but great to see her going for that difficulty.
And again, you mentioned it early, Christina. It's one where, you know, you talk about the podium, that extra bounce, and not lacking for power on that twist, and just bounces right out of it. All right, over on bars now. Up third is Kennedy Brown for UNH, following a 9.775 and a 9.725.
And she does that free hip into her bail to handstand. Nicely done there. A really cool release there, that Horkina. Don't see that very often in NCAA gymnastics. Wow, drills that double back. Great routine.
And you can see she's been in that 9.9 range this season, delivered a really big one there for UNH. Excellent.
Well, she's been at the 9.875. She hasn't quite been at the 9.9.
9.9
Knocking on the door. Exactly. Somebody
She's
gave her a 9.9.
Yeah, that's right. All right, back over to vault, up fourth. Beautiful vault for Pitt. That is Katie Chamberlain.
And you can see she is stoked about that one, as she should be. Pitt doing a nice job of getting back on track after not quite the floor start they wanted.
All right, look on beam now. Brooke Donabedian, who has had a 9.9 this season for Temple on beam. Summer Rusky with a hit beam routine in the 9.6s after the opening fall.
Yeah, just, you know, she was just a little bit hesitant throughout that routine, and so that was the cause for a couple of those deductions. Clean connection there in that aerial to back handspring. You know, the front to back combinations are difficult to connect. Cat leap into the side summy. Nice side summy. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record today. Would have liked to see some better positionality on that cat leap. I think it's very difficult to get. Gymnasts are often thinking forward to their acrobatic element. Cool jump there. She does that double stag. And gearing up for her dismount here. Hangs on to it. Nice job. Yeah, you know, just a couple of form breaks here and there throughout the routine, but certainly should see that score escalate, and hopefully they can continue to build.
Yeah, Temple getting stronger as that rotation goes on, still carrying some scores they're not going to absolutely love after staying in the 9.7, 9.8 space on bars. As you look at Sydney Washington, first team All-Eagle on vault, getting ready to go at the end of the runway.
And, you know, said this about her on floor, but she's so powerful. Big full there, really nice dynamics.
And a stuck bars dismount for UNH. That is Kylie Cratchwell, second team All-Eagle on bars, delivered a really nice routine.
I mean, I just love the atmosphere in here. It's getting intense. These teams are pushing each other. Oh, gosh. Just over-rotated that front layout and couldn't control it. This is the intricate choreography I'm talking about from Hallie Mozette. We are lucky to have her as a choreographer in NCAA.
Reagan Jones up third for LIU here. Season high 9.85 on floor.
And you know, too bad. She has great twisting form, really nice in the air. Just, you know, I think she could have controlled that with a lunge. Don't know what happened there. You know, she was over-rotated, but just like looked like she was taking a step forward, lost her balance. Yeah, so too bad there.
All right, back now to beam. Up fourth for Temple, freshman Hannah Stalling, second team All-Eagle on this event.
And working through that full turn. You know, one of the things across the board with these athletes, I would like to see more athletes finishing the full turn in releve. Yes, that is picky, but this is college gymnastics, and just a little under-rotated on that back handspring layout step out, but hangs on to it. And cool combo there, that split jump into the standing layout step out. And I like this down on the beam choreography. I always love it when, you know, she did that handstand and down the beam work, just getting a little variety. I love to see that.
Over on the right side of your screen now, up fifth, Kylie Gorgani, one you're going to want to watch, first team All-Eagle on bars.
And working through this routine well, like that transition to the high bar, a little bit close there. Drills the landing. New Hampshire having a great rotation. Good for her.
Yeah, and that was after a 9.875 from Cratchwell right before her. So we'll see what that scores from Gorgani. One left, senior Haley Louie will anchor for UNH on bars.
And Kylie Gorgani also designed New Hampshire's leotard. So that's a fun fact. I think that's awesome. You know, a couple of the college teams, they have people on their team that like to dabble in the leotard design, and so cool that she was able to design this leotard for them this season.
You say it's awesome. I say it's unfair to have that much talent.
Right,
you
okay.
Pick a lane.
Kevin,
you know,
Kevin, you haven't been designing leotards?
No, you know, the multidisciplinary talent is really, that's where it just gets to be too much. No, that's awesome.
And taking a look at Ariana Castronce here, I mean, this is an athlete I know both you and I have been so impressed with her throughout her NCAA career. And to be honest, I think she's really a underrated all-arounder because she is not competing in SEC, in Pac-12, but she is a trickster. We're going to see her double layout later. I think we're only going to see in air quotes, do her 1.5, but she can do a double twist in Yurchenko.
Yeah, she is really one of those kind of hidden gems and hasn't competed a lot of all-around this year either, which is, you know, part of what's kept her off the radar as well. As we look here at floor, Talia Foligno up fourth for LIU on floor exercise.
And she's such a great performer, too.
Ariana Castronce on the beam for Temple.
Great control on that double pike. And we got the Jaws music going as well. Remember, it's the Sharks. And Ariana Castronce, one-armed back handspring layout step out. That's just showing off. I mean, she's so talented. Oh. Too bad for Foligno. Just when she landed that switch ring, she landed a bit awkwardly. Couldn't quite get into her next dance element the way that she wanted.
Off screen, by the way, Louie just finished up for UNH on bars. Another good routine. Since we didn't get to see it, I'll call it a stuck landing. Step into the salute a little bit.
Little college stick there.
Yeah. Here's Castronce finishing up.
And just, I mean, that's what we're so used to seeing from her. And we're going to take a look at Haley Louie. Ariana Castronce, such a performer. And here's Haley Louie coming into, she does this really cool bar work. Does have to cowboy her knees there on that double back, but I do like that front giant work into the dismount.
Oh, and those, you know, quasi sticks look better in slow motion, too. It looks
right.
like she held on to it for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that is UNH officially gets halfway home, and they really capitalized on bars. The score they're going to drop is a 9.725. Louis will definitely improve on that, and we'll see where they end up. But it'll be over a 49 for New Hampshire on bars.
Really strong rotation. They really, I mean, they're going to move to beam, which is such a beautiful event for them.
Yeah, well, you love having home order anyway, but it actually really does suit UNH
Yes.
where they really just get better and better and better,
Right.
I would say, on each event.
And when we talked to Coach Brooke Ayat, she told us that. She said it's a great order for us to start on. You know, kind of we get vault out of the way, and they had a great rotation on bars there. And looking at Juliana Rowland here for Temple, she is a stunning beam worker. Just has really exquisite lines. By exquisite lines, what I mean is she's got beautiful toe point. She has great split positions. There's not a finger out of place in this beam routine.
A little bit like, to preview our evening session, a little bit like Elizabeth Coulter.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the way that
Very similar style. Yeah.
And Rowland, you want to talk about the talent in this sport coming from D2 Bridgeport,
Right.
transfers into Temple, and is a multiple-time school record holder
Absolutely.
at Temple. She has been a phenomenal addition, and here she is on the right side. She is the anchor on beam. Meanwhile, on your left, up fifth for LIU, that is Jeliah Bedminster.
And Lord, give me the confidence that Jeliah Bedminster has walking into this floor routine. Nicely controlled 1.5 front layout. But yeah, I love her confidence. I love the her performance quality on this event. Wow, great save from Rowland there. Just a little stutter on that landing of that double back, but she handled it. I hope our viewers are enjoying this treat. Such excellent gymnasts in both boxes here. Doesn't quite hang on to that stick. You know, I've seen her be cleaner on beam, but again, for Temple, it was just getting through these routines. They did not have to counter fall. That was really critical for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was not poetry in motion there for the Owls necessarily, 2 through 6, but they did the big job, which was they dropped that early fall, and that's a tough spot to have it in that opening routine. But Temple does enough to stay alive, and they'll go to floor and vault, which are two events where they feel very strong. We talked about UNH feeling really good about their draw. I think Temple feeling the same way. Floor and vault have certainly been their two strongest events this season, and that could really be fun to watch between those two teams down the stretch to see who's going to come out of this meet and kind of set the pace for the rest of the day.
Absolutely. And yeah, you know, I think especially on any event, but especially on beam, when you have a fall early in the lineup, what tends to happen is that the athletes just get a little tight because they don't want to fall. So you know, we talked about that in some of the athletes a little bit earlier in the lineup that had you know, fundamentally good routines, but they weren't quite going for broke on some of those split positions or being a little bit hesitant. So they're just giving away half tenths and tenths here and there, and those do add up over the course of the meet.
Well, and it's a great illustration of why it's kind of one of those well-worn cliches to say, oh, the leadoff is so important. Right. But that's why it trickles down even beyond just, of course, you want to get a hit routine.
Sure.
It trickles down in exactly the way you're talking about.
Sure.
All right, just one competitor left, and that will be Amanda Liu, the junior who will anchor floor for LIU. And she has gone 9.925 this season for Long Island, and it would be great to see her get a moment to shine here at Eagles. You get the whole arena to yourself here, and this could certainly be a floor routine worthy of that.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of having the whole arena to yourself, got to talk to Margie Foster Cunningham, head coach of GW, before about putting this meet on podium, and said her athletic department was so supportive of getting this meet on podium. It literally elevates.
Yeah, that's right.
Literally elevates the championship. You know, I love that she went after that. She's such a champion for the sport, not just for her team, but for NCAA gymnastics. And I appreciate George Washington. You know, there's a phrase in women's sports, you got to show it to grow it. And this is really putting these athletes on the platform that they deserve.
There's no doubt about that. They did it for a regular season meet a couple years ago, which is a tremendous, again, it's a tremendous investment on the part of George Washington, and it has paid off. This is certainly a worthy host site for this championship, and it's been a good one so far, and we're going to be halfway done with our afternoon session after this routine from Amanda Liu.
And she opens with this double layout, huge. And I didn't see a flag go up. Her heel was on the line. I do not think a flag went up, though, but took that one way up high. Very deserved of having all eyes on her. Punch front into double back. Great routine. Gosh, she's such a performer, and that's what artistry is all about. You know, a lot of people confound artistry and personality. Floor is not about showing your personality. It's about the artistic expression, your commitment to the routine, and she's the full package. She's got the tumbling, she's got the expression, she's got the dance. Love her on floor.
Yeah, you can see why she's been a 9-9 plus gymnast this year, and a high note for LIU and for us to end the second rotation. Now we're going to come back and have your team totals at the midway point and look ahead to rotation number 3, where New Hampshire goes to beam, Temple to floor, LIU to vault, and Pitt to bars. That coming up as we're halfway home in the afternoon session of the 2022 Eagle Championships. Back in a moment. Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Kopp, Christina Chauvenet with you here at the Eagle Championships. It's the afternoon session here at the George Washington University, and 2 rotations are in the books. Here are your team scores at the moment, with UNH on top, a 97-650 for the Wildcats, puts them in the top spot at the moment. Temple 97-275 in second. Pitt third with a 97-125. LIU in fourth, 95-925 for the Sharks. Well, Christina, no shortage of highlights in the second rotation. You kind of got that first postseason quad meet feeling where you started to see stuck landing, and some big routines, including LIU, who got to finish on a really high note.
Absolutely. Amanda Liu, such a performer on this event, and she, as I mentioned before the break, combines this great performance quality. Check out this huge double layout. Great height, just a little bit of pike on that second flip, and she managed to keep that in bounds, did not go out. Her heel was right on the line.
Yeah, Lou scored a 9.75, and their score has actually ticked up a bit. They're now over that 96 mark as that score just came in. And a look at New Hampshire warming up here on the balance beam. Christina, they put together a terrific bar set. The first 49 mark of the day, 49.150 for UNH on bars, highlighted by Kylie Cratchwell's 9.875, and it's put them in the driver's seat in this meet.
Absolutely, and if I'm UNH, I'm feeling really good moving into beam right now. Beam is a great event for them. They have broken their program record on beam this season. Have some really stunning routines. Both Alyssa Worthington, Haley Louis, highlights of this rotation for me, but really strong routines across the board.
And now we're going to take a look at some highlights from the second rotation. And Christina, let's go back to LIU on floor.
And Talia Folino, I mean, I'm just so excited we're seeing her. You know, she was not able to compete last season for LIU. Really enjoyed her floor performance. Ariana Castrance, such a rock star. Look at her showing off that landing position on that back handspring layout step out. And here's Haley Louis, who I mentioned is so beautiful to watch on beam. Little leg separation there in the Maloney, that transition from low to high. But, you know, really, again, they managed to put together a really solid rotation. And what the highlight of Haley Louise' routine for me comes up right here. she does this front giant work, the straddle into the double back, really cool. Just has that leg separation on the double back, but you could see she was stoked about that one.
Over to LIU again on floor, and you know, they dug themselves, Christine, an early hole. Unfortunately, those falls on beam are going to take them out of a chance to really compete for an afternoon title and to be the clubhouse leader. And you look here at Juliana Rowland, who finished up a really gritty beam set for Temple.
Yeah, I think gritty is a good way to describe that. You know, they had a fall earlier in the rotation, had to come back. And then again here, taking a look at that double layout from Amanda Liu. Just really impressed with how LIU has upped their level of difficulty in such a short period of time.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. We said it at the very start of the meet. You mentioned it, Christina. 192.2 NQS at this point last season, and now a 194.3.
Yeah.
2 points in NQS is
huge.
Just a gargantuan leap forward.
Absolutely. Definitely fun to watch this program grow. And actually, Vault is one of the places, they're moving to Vault. Vault is one of the places where that's had the biggest impact. You know, last season, I think they were competing a couple of fulls, but still a lot of their lineup was doing the Yurchenko layouts. And you look at the start value differential between those two, the Yurchenko layout full being valued out of the 9.95, Yurchenko layout out of that 9.75. So now they are competing all twisting vaults. And so that all of their start values are 9.9 or above. And that has made a huge difference in their scoring potential, because even if you're nailing a Yurchenko layout, you're still not getting really above that 9.7 range. So that's a huge thing that they've been able to do to really make themselves more competitive this season.
Yeah, they have gotten so close to that 49 mark on vault this season best and program record, 48.975 for Randy Lane's LIU team this season. So they will be on vault. Pitt is on bars, UNH on beam, and Temple on floor here in the third rotation. Some late scores came in, and Temple has actually now jumped into the lead, 97.950 for Temple after a 48.975 on beam, almost, again, just a quarter tenth off from that 49, and that was after the opening fall. UNH 97.725, only 2 1/4 tenths behind, still very, very much in it. 6 tenths out of second is Pitt, and then LIU now up over a 96 with that last score in from Lou, 96.275. So those are your most up-to-date scores. Underway here on bars for Pitt. Leading off, this is Kaylee Gillings.
A nice opening routine for Pitt. You know, a couple of shy handstands in that and a little step on the landing, but again, really solid start.
Yeah, Pitt's been dealt a little bit of a tough hand. They only went 5 up on vault, had to count a 9.325 on floor due to being a little short-handed at the start of the day, but trying to battle through as best they can, get back into it. Here are your 2 leaders, Temple on the left, on floor, UNH on the right on beam. That's Sierra Bauman for UNH and Renee Shugman for Temple.
Leap into that front toss, was off in that cat leap, but managed to hang on. I thought she might fall on that because she was quite off with her feet, but hangs on to it. And that sheep jump, very difficult on beam. Nice double pike on floor there.
That's a good note to leave on for Shugman, and a nice job to bounce back after she took that tough fall in the leadoff spot on beam. Comes back here in a big spot on floor.
Gainer full, nice stuck landing there. Overall, good start. You know, good start for New Hampshire. She did have that error in the front toss, but fought through it. So important.
Sierra Bauman caps off the opening spot there for UNH on beam, and now we go to vault. Up second for LIU, Lauren Miller.
And one of those Yurchenko layout fulls, a 9.95, was just not quite ready for that landing. Saw her chest down, so it's not going to score as well as some of the more dynamic fulls that we've seen.
And now over to Pitt on bars. Up second, freshman Jordan Ewing, second team All-Eagle on bars, season and career best 9.925.
And look at this front giant work into the piked Jaeger. Huge. I mean, she's one of those athletes that can actually showcase her power on bars, which is, it's difficult. Sometimes people that are really powerful, their bars seem labored, but she just takes no prisoners. I love her bar work. The full turn right on top of the bar in that full turn. That's what we want to see. Didn't quite get that landing, but great job overall.
Yeah, and again, to have that second in your lineup is really, that is an embarrassment of riches there for Samantha Snyder for Pitt. Just a great bars lineup. It is their best event. They're top ranked in the Eagle, 27th in the country on bars. Pitt, really team you want to keep an eye on in this third rotation. They can really make a move.
And that's something, as you mentioned, these teams, as you're keeping an eye on the scores, what events the teams are on is going to make a difference as they rotate through these. Juliana Rowland here, gorgeous opening pass. Just love the precision of her double pike.
And while Roland competes on floor, we go back over to vault as well. Up third, Amanda Liu.
Oh gosh, and just missed her block on that. You saw her having to tuck it. Looks like she's okay, so that's good. Glad that she did not go for that vault because she really was quite off. So good decision for her. Great double back. Again, I love her precision on floor. Saw some really nice dance elements in that routine.
And we'll catch the end of the routine. Oh, just at the wrong time. Summer Simpkins up second for UNH.
Too bad. Just very, on beam, it's really about keeping your center of gravity, your hips and your shoulders. And her hips were just way off to the side. Really difficult to save at that point. Too bad. Yeah, nice dismount, but just lost it in the middle there.
All right, so pressure on UNH to do what Temple did and hit the last four routines in their lineup, drop that early fall as we come to bars after a great routine from Ewing junior Erin Hutchinson.
A nice Jaeger release combo there. Shy on that last handstand, gearing up for her dismount here. Love that double Arabian. Again, that's one of those college sticks. She could have just sunk her heels in a little bit. But yeah, really, nice routine from her.
All right, over on vault after the fall from Liu, and vault that LIU certainly will want to drop here in this third rotation. Sophomore Alana Ricketts.
Yeah, and this is a challenging position to be in because, not only did she fall, but her timing was off, she wasn't right on. And so when you see that from your teammate, that can be difficult to recover from. Good for her. Really nice to see. Good, nice position in that. A little piked when coming in, but overall, really nice job in such a difficult situation.
And you hope that can kind of, clear the block, so to speak, for LIU there, and they can put that out of their mind and finish strong here on vault 2 to go there as we pick up on floor with Ariana Castrense.
And this is a critical moment. She is going to mount with her double layout. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh. We're just going to give her the respect and privacy that she deserves.
Just a horrible, horrible moment for Castrense and for Temple for so many reasons.
And just thinking of her.
Yeah.
Sending her our best.
All right, so we will move over to bars now For Pitt, Hannah Baddick, season best 9.875. Oh, excuse me, for Pitt, Katie Chamberlain.
Gearing up for her dismount here. Full twisting double back. Wow, drills that landing. You know, would have liked to see just a little bit more precise toe point throughout that routine, but she did a really nice job with her release moves, and that dismount was stunning.
Back to beam now. UNH Jenna DiVincenzo on the right side of your screen. And on vault, that is Jelaya Bedminster.
Nice, Yurchenko full. Really,
yes.
Love to see that in college athletics. Just get hype, like you deserve it. Yeah, I think that's the best one I've seen her do.
Yeah, that's huge for LIU. 1 to go will be Carson Foster, the freshman, in the anchor spot.
Nice gainer full dismount there.
All right, Pitt started off with 3 scores of 9-8 or above. Still waiting on the score for Katie Chamberlain. You are looking at Sydney Washington. The 2 freshman all-arounders, Washington and Copperwheat, are up 5th and 6th for Pitt on bars. By the way, that vault for Bedminster went 9.85 for LIU.
Good for her. Well deserved. That was it was sky high, really nice dynamics. Take another look here on replay. What I like is the rebound. She gets off the table, keeps nice position, and just a little like stutter step on her landing. She almost stuck it, but didn't quite. But good for her.
All right, and 1 vaulter left. That is Foster, who you're looking at the end of the vault runway, just waiting for the go-ahead from the judges. Freshman with a season and career best 9.775.
And go ahead.
Oh, I'm looking over at bars momentarily. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Christina, you can step in. 9.9 for Katie Chamberlain is our first 9.9 individually today.
I think that is our first 9.9 today.
There you go.
And really just drilled that full twisting double back dismount, so good for her.
All right, so she set the table here for some pretty impressive bars workers behind her, beginning with Sydney Washington.
And check this out, really cool. Love that diversity in the lineup. That half on, tuck off. That is a 9.95 start. Oh, lost her form in that Van Leeuwen there, but manages to hang on. And sticks the dismount. She will incur a large deduction for that form break on her Van Leeuwen. The Van Leeuwen, the toe on Shaposhnikova half transition. But taking a look back at bars, and this really nice release sequence, that straddle Jaeger to the bail. You know, again, just some little leg separation and toe point throughout. So I gotta be honest, I probably wouldn't have gone 9.9 on that routine, but still a really strong routine. I probably would have had that at a 9.8 or a 9.85.
All right, unfortunately on the right side of your screen on beam, that is Hannah Baddick, who took a fall earlier in this routine while we were in that replay. Back to floor in a tough spot to be in for 5th-year Tori Edwards, seeing her teammate go out the way that she did on that double layout. And Edwards, a 5th-year experience, just trying to pick it up and get it back here for Temple.
And just started with that big punch double front. And too bad, you know, I've seen New Hampshire be a lot cleaner on beam, just not their night. They do have a couple of really stunning routines coming up, though.
Yeah, 2 to go. That will be Alyssa Worthington and Haley Louis, who are both first-team All-Eagle on this event. So
and
they've
both
got a
have
chance.
gone 9.975 this season.
Yeah, so they got a chance to make up some ground in a hurry if they do what they're capable of doing, for sure. And on the bars to anchor for Pitt is first-team All-Eagle on bars, Haley Copperwheat.
And Copperwheat's such a dynamic bar worker as well. Tori Edwards psyched about that one. You know, I got a chance to talk to Tori. She said that the support of Coach Nilsson had really been vital in her coming back for that 5th year, having a great performance as a floor specialist this season. Full twisting, double back, little hop. But, you know, Hallie Copperwheat is one of those athletes who's she's just automatic. She's a hit machine. Great to see that so early in her career.
Yeah, she's already gone 9.925 on bars this season, and caps off a really, really nice bars rotation for Pitt. You feel like this is the first time that we've kind of seen the Pitt team that we were hoping to see here this afternoon.
Absolutely.
And, here's a look at Tori Edwards trying to set up Faith Leary, her teammate. Leary's actually the defending champion in this event. She scored 9.9 last year at Eagles, floor co-champion.
Yeah, and we're going to see some really beautiful gymnastics back-to-back or side-by-side, as the case may be here, because Alyssa Worthington on beam now, just stunning. And that's what I was talking about, finishing that full turn in releve. Why I think that is so important is that when you don't take deductions from people that can't do that, you are not appropriately rewarding someone like Alyssa who does that. Look at that aerial back handspring series, so tricky. And showing off that flexibility. And you can just see the confidence that she works beam with. Really tricky series there. Gymnastics fans aren't going to be surprised to hear me say, I like to see a little better positionality on those cat leaps. But otherwise, really nice. Gorgeous. Absolutely great to see her come back from what has been a lackluster rotation for New Hampshire.
Yeah, she delivered there, and still Louis to go, who also has gone 9.975 as we look at Faith Leary on floor for Temple.
And so nice to have Edwards and Leary back-to-back, coming back from that challenging situation with Ariana Castrance, because they are both really consistent athletes.
Yeah, consistent and veterans too.
Yes.
That if, they are capable of doing what needs to be done here mentally, which is as challenging as anything when you see something like that happen.
Oh, just lost her balance there. I don't know what happened in that double back landing.
It looked as if she had it.
Yeah, she just, no big deal. It's not going to be a huge deduction, but just maybe, just a loss of balance. But, yeah, nice routine. Again, want to send our thoughts out to Ariana Castrance. Was short on her double layout and was taken off by the medical staff. So she is coming back. She's on the sidelines cheering on her teammates, so good to see. But yeah, really tough break for her there.
Yeah, just awful for a senior. And now we go to beam after a 9.9 for Worthington. So that's our second 9.9 of the day. Here is Haley Louis to finish up.
I don't know that the aerial was totally fine. Just lost it on that split jump connection. Oh, yeah. Gosh. Too bad. Like I said, not New Hampshire's day on beam.
No, really, the 9-9 from Worthington, the only highlight thus far. They've had two 9.675s, a 9-2 and a 9-0, and unfortunately another fall here from their first team all-conference beam worker in Louis.
Nice side summy. And you can see there, she did a really nice job of what I was sort of previewing, her flexibility, her extension, just really beautiful split position. So we're going to see more of that on floor. Sticks the landing, nice job to recover, but tough because she would have been one of my favorites coming in to win the beam title.
Yeah, so a disappointing finish there and a tough rotation overall for UNH. As we come back to floor now, Brooke Donabedian in the anchor spot for Temple.
I love that 1.5 to front layout pass. Could have gotten maybe a little bit more height on that layout step out, but really cool combo. Nice leg up turn there. Gorgeous. Stunning, stunning routine.
And you can see why even among this veteran floor lineup for Temple, the sophomore has taken over that anchor spot. A great way to cap it off for the Owls, who, again, putting aside just the mental and emotional side of Castrense's fall, they also, there's the score component of it, and they needed hit routines as well to keep themselves in this meet. You want to come out of this in pole position, and with UNH struggling on beam, Temple hitting the 5 floor routines they needed, you know, they come out of it in position to do so, as we have now 1 rotation left in our afternoon session. New Hampshire will be on floor, Temple to vault, LIU to bars, and Pitt will finish on beam after a great bar set for the Panthers. So we will step away for a quick break and come back to wrap up rotation 3. We'll give you your scores as we head into the 4th and final rotation of today's afternoon session. The winner and a clubhouse leader at the end of this 4th and final rotation. You're watching the Eagle Championships from the Charles E. Smith Center in beautiful Washington, D.C. George Washington, our host. They'll get underway in the evening session. We've got New Hampshire, Temple, LIU, and Pitt. Christina, as we look at the highlights from rotation number 3, really a couple of great vaults from LIU.
Yeah, Julia Bedminster there, just going crazy. 9.85 for that big Yurchenko full. Really nice to see. And, you know, we see so many of these Yurchenko fulls throughout we will see more in the evening session. What's really going to show the difference between them as we look at this is so cool. The half on, tuck off, love that vault. And
we should mention that both Bedminster and Carson Foster, who you saw there, those were both season and career highs, 9.85 and 9.825, which is awesome.
So exciting. Yeah, you know, just, and looking here at Tori Edwards, tough break for Temple with Ariana Castrense landing her double layout short, but the rest of the rotation really rallied after that. Hallie Copperwheat we're looking at here. I mean, she's got such a bright future in NCAA gymnastics. That straddled Jaeger. And, you know, I actually think she's moving to her strongest event. You know, hoping that we're going to see the double turn for her on beam. That's right, you heard that right, folks. She does a double turn on beam. Very few athletes doing that. You know, Sam Snyder told me she just kind of leaves it up to her if she wants to do it. There are other options for her to build her start value up there, but really wonderful bar routine from her as well.
Yeah, Pitt certainly had their best rotation of the day. They did not have a score below 9.8 as high as 9.9. with Katie Chamberlain, who led the way. And again, New Hampshire had one good moment, really, that 9-9 that you saw there from Worthington, but that was it. Some struggles elsewhere. That was Faith Leary finishing up for Temple. She had a 9.825.
Yeah, and Haley Louis here, one of those athletes that, stuck dismount. Good for her to finish her routine on a high note, but had a fall in that routine. Just not her day.
High floor score of the day, and one that could get Temple a floor championship, 9.925 for Brooke Donabedian.
By the way, that's her third pass.
Yeah.
Casual, front double full as your third pass. I mean, you talk about just the talent. It's embarrassing. It's just like these athletes are so talented.
And Temple, you see, again, despite the issue for Castrense there on her first pass, they were able to drop that score and now extend their lead, 147-250, nearly a full point over the Pitt Panthers, 146-325, as you see New Hampshire takes a big step back with their struggles on being 145-3, and LIU not far out of third with a 145-1.
Absolutely. I think LIU, it was really good for them to come back and have a good rotation on vault. Temple really, given the struggles that they had, really good for them to rebound, and they are coming into a very strong event for them, vault.
Albeit one that is going to be lessened by not having Castrense, who's their big vault anchor, 10-0 start value, Yurchenko 1.5. Don't know what they're going to do, trying to keep an eye on their touch warm-up here to see if they may just go 5 like Pitt did with their injury in warm-ups, or that they can sub in. Sarah Stallings has competed some on vault, so we'll see what Josh Nielsen elects to do here.
Yeah, they do have a lot of options on vault. I will say, given that they are in this situation, it's better that they are in this situation on vault than, for example, bars.
Yeah, that's a great point. Vault is where Temple actually comes in as the #1 team in the Eagle, 27th overall in the country. They have set their program record earlier this year on vault with a 49-2. So certainly an area where they feel comfortable. And
speaking of program records, we've got Mara Titarzule, who's going to be on LIU on bars. If you have not seen her bar routine, you're in for such a treat. It is gorgeous. She has warmed up her Bahardwaj. She has options if she does. We'll see if she does I shouldn't say just the back salto, because it's a gorgeous back salto, or the Bahardwaj. Scored a 10 at their last home meet. First LIU gymnast ever to score a 10. Coach Randy Lane was just so excited about that big moment for the program as well.
It was huge. And again, we've talked about the leaps and bounds forward that LIU has made. And now she was there last year. Teacher Solek came in that initial recruiting class for LIU. But again, that international talent that Randy Lane has brought in is such a big part of why this program, I mean, you look at the trajectory, it's a rocket ship right now. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Now, the 10 routine that she had was without the Bahardwaj.
That's true.
With the Pack Salto.
By the way, folks, get yourself a play-by-play who can talk through a Pack Salto versus a Bahardwaj. So happy to be commentating with you, Kevin. But it was without it. So it's a tricky thing in NCAA. These athletes that have some more of that. Difficulty, but they're already starting from a 10. And Randy Lane talked about that. He said, she loves to throw the Bahardwaj, but I also know she loved to be the bars champion. So
that's right. You could kind of feel that little push-pull even earlier in the week on Tuesday or Wednesday when we talked with Coach Lane. So that's going to be one just to see, in addition, it's a great bars routine. You just want to see it. You also want to see in real time what she's going to decide.
Absolutely. And just like just to a barometer of where she is, they went to Minnesota last week, and she shared the bars title with Anna Loper and Lexi Ramler. So when you're in that company, and it was well-deserved, I should say, so that's really great to see.
All right, we are just about ready to go. Fourth and final rotation about to get underway. New Hampshire on floor, Temple on vault, LIU on bars, and Pitt on beam, and that's where we will start. Katie Chamberlain, the senior, will lead off for the Pitt Panthers as we get the first vault from Tori Edwards.
And Tori Edwards has not been in the vault lineup consistently for Temple. Probably that person that came in for Castrense. You'd never know it by that performance.
No, and she's a fifth year. She's got a lot of miles, and I think they've just wanted to rest her and save her for floor. She's only gone 9.7 this season, but she's certainly a 9.8 capable vaulter.
Yeah, and just tough break there on that series. On the right, nice opening pass for New Hampshire.
Yes, for New Hampshire on floor exercise, leading off, that is Alyssa Beaulieu, the freshman.
Nice dismount, but tough break for Pitt.
Ellen, you know, every team today has had a fall on beam, and so the thing that has separated everyone is whether you're able to not count it, you're able to hit where you need to hit, and that will be the story ahead for Pitt.
And just a little out of control on that 1.5 twist. But overall, very pretty routine.
And on the left side of your screen is Juliana Rowland. She is the school record holder in this event with a 9.925. She's also the reigning Eagle Vault champion. She had a 9.9 last year.
And she can put this Yurchenko full so high. She's in the same caliber with people like Kaja Hislop. Look at this. Doesn't quite get the stick today, but just it's the lines that I talked about that she has on floor and beam. You can see that same thing reflected in vault here.
Yeah, you can see almost a little bit of frustration on her face there.
Exactly.
She wanted that stick, and she certainly had time just given that block off the table, and a really terrific vault for Rowland. Terrific day. She delivered exactly where and when you would expect her to for Temple.
But what's special about that vault, you know, I mentioned Kaja Hislop. She's a UNC alum and a vault All-American. Herself, people like Alex McMurtry, and then contemporarily Che Campbell. There's only a handful of people that can really flare out the Yurchenko full, and she is one of them.
That is Mackenzie Aresta. She's already ready to go. She's going to have a wait. They got to score that rolling vault first. And again, the pressure is firmly on Pitt right now. The Panthers have gotten themselves into second. They've leapfrogged New Hampshire because of the Wildcat struggle on the beam. And now Pitt facing the same thing after an opening fall from Katie Chamberlain. Now another senior, Kylie Robotin, will be up second following that opening 9-1 score. Over on floor exercise, Kylie Gorgani will be up second. So Robotin on your left and Gorgani on your right.
Maybe just a hair under-rotated on that double pike, but... And I like that front-to-back combination on beam. And Gorgani just under-rotated that middle pass, but hung on to it. So cool, that front aerial to arabesque. Yeah, you know, really nice recovery for Pitt on beam. For Kylie Gorgani, I've seen her have a little bit more control on some of those landings of passes, but just really nice routine. You know, their assistant coach, Amanda Fillard, does the choreography. I think she's one of the most underrated choreographers in NCAA. The diversity of these different types of routines that we're going to see is really special and really works with these athletes a lot on performance quality.
And while we have a moment, we're going to catch up with LIU just a moment ago on bars.
And this is Ilka Juk. That Maloney to Bahardwaj loses form. I mean, sorry, Bahardwaj. Got ahead of myself there. The Pack Salto loses her form in that Pack Salto. obviously known for her beam work, but also in the bars lineup. And, you know, recovered nicely, had some form breaks in, but really fought through that routine.
All right, back over on vault, up fourth for Temple freshman Anna Hill.
And another nice Yurchenko full. You know, the situation that Temple is in here is really difficult to come back from, and they're doing a nice job. Not quite getting those stuck landings, but nice in the air and good dynamics. Again, you know, when people talk about vault, in my opinion, a lot of folks tend to over-fixate on the landing. Of course the landing is important, but remember, also the dynamics, the height, the distance, the hip angle, the form in the air, these are all things that go into a vault score, and in my opinion, the judges themselves are too fixated on the landings, but nice to see. I think they're having some nice dynamics through these vault, all important elements.
Kira Sanchez on the right for LIU on bars. On the left will be Jordan Ewing.
Just mistimed the release of that Jaeger. The timing of release, particularly the Jaeger, you really have to get that, release the bar at the right time, just way too far from the bar to catch that.
So that was after 2 hit routines for LIU, 9-7, 2-5, and 9-7.
Just ran out of gas there on that bar's dismount.
All right, picking up now. Ooh.
Difficult switch half there.
Picking up on the right side of your screen as well with Kentney Brown on floor.
And she's one of those athletes that I love. She's such a great performer. And yeah, not the routine that Pitt wanted there, but you know, still lots of gymnastics left. And you can see what I'm talking about with with Amanda Fillard's choreography, just the detail. It's so much fun. You almost, like, you know, I forget that this is a scored routine. It's like a night at the theater with New Hampshire on floor. I really like that.
All right, this was a moment ago for Temple. This is Hannah Stallings up fifth for the Owls on vault.
And didn't get quite as much height as some of her teammates. Has that big hop back. That's probably going to be in the range of 2 or 3 tenths.
And we'll come live to Hannah's sister, Sarah Stallings, who goes back into the vault lineup for the injured Ariana Castrense. Sarah has been a pretty regular vaulter this year for Temple, so the freshman twin sisters will compete 5th and 6th on vault for the Owls.
Oh, pretty in the air. You know, she got a nice block. I'd have to take a look at that on replay to see what exactly went wrong on landing. And Haley Louis here waiting on floor. We'll take another look here, see what happened off the table. Let's see. Yeah, oh, she was a little high on the table. Her shoulders were way off center of the rest of, from her knees and feet there. Just didn't, when I say high on the table, what I mean is she didn't get the push down off the table that she needs to really complete that.
All right, so that is going to be the score that Temple drops. They had hit their first 5 vaults, so, you know, Temple had struggles almost everywhere today, Christina, but never counted one, and that is probably going to be the difference between them and the other 3 teams in this session, though we will see how it all stacks up as we come back over to floor following a 9.85 from Kennedy Brown. Second team All-Eagle, Haley Louis, and on the right side of your screen, Lauren Miller.
And Lauren, that Shaposhnikova, you know, so many are doing the toe on Maloney. Rare to see that at the original Shaposhnikova. Nice double full there. I mean, Haley is so stunning on this event. Look at the stretch, just a little bit off balance there on her dance element. Nice routine from LIU on bars.
On beam on the right side of your screen, freshman Sydney Washington will finish up her day in the all-around for Pitt.
And just lovely to see Haley Louis finish this evening strong. Did not have the performance she wanted on beam, but we talked about those individual qualifiers, 2 regionals. I think Haley Louis at this point is as close to a lock as you could be on both beam and floor. So she will likely continue her season after this. And great to see her rebound. Just such a beautiful, expressive athlete to watch on floor.
Yeah, it's not a perfect correlation, obviously, for all the reasons that Christina has mentioned and the different scores and teams to qualify. But when we're highlighting a first or a second team All-Eagle, is a good bet that they're at least in the conversation for a regional spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good sort of good barometer.
Down to our final few routines here. Temple's day is complete. We're waiting on one more vault score for the Owls, and we'll know what their final total is, and that's going to be the number to beat.
And Hallie Copperweed just, I run out of superlatives when talking about Hallie Copperweed's gymnastics as we move to bars here.
This is Ella Castellanos, the sophomore for LIU.
Nice bail to handstand there, and the toe onto high bar. Some form issues in that Tkachev, but catches it nicely. Gearing up for her dismount here. Yeah, just some form in that double layout as well. Legs came apart, but overall, strong routine.
All right, back over to floor exercise now. Gracie Mowers, the freshman for UNH.
A little chest low on that landing, but I love this routine. You will see all of the popular dances in this routine. Nice double back there. We've got the Soldier Boy in college gymnastics. We got everything here. I told you were going to see all the popular dances.
We've caught up to the 2010s.
When you and I were in college, not when they were in college.
No, that's a throwback for them, which just makes me feel old.
Yeah, we don't need to say what years we graduated from college, but it's such a fun routine.
Yeah, that really is. All right, here we go. Mara Teacher Soleil, first team All-Eagle, first 10 in LIU history. Here she is on bars.
So stunning. Look at the toe point. Gorgeous. Here's that Maloney. Now, what's she going to do here? She does just the pack salto. Beautiful pack salto. Half pirouette. I mean, everything here is textbook. This is how you are supposed to perform these routines. Full pirouette right on top of the bar. The huge double back. Are you kidding me? That is how you do bars right there. Mara Titar-Soleil, stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Beautiful.
And I don't know what the judges are going to do with that. I mean, she does that half pirouette on the low bar, which, by the way, most folks in NCAA cannot do on top of the bar. That I'd have to get a look at that on replay just to verify that she wasn't short on that, but it looked pretty good to me. You know, that full turn into the double back, she takes her double back so high. Just lovely to watch. Great to see that.
Yeah, the whole thing is really picturesque, and yeah, it's going to be really, really fun to see. There's 110 from one judge over here.
And the LIU fans are going crazy. Yeah. They want a 10.
4-judge panel, and she's not going to get it. She got 110 from one judge. That is, I think, the only one of the 4.
Yeah, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9, 5.
And we missed one over here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very good number, and possibly, again, what would be the first conference title for LIU. 9.95 for Mara Titar-Soleil. So beautiful. And again, we couldn't have built her up any higher, and then she still goes out and delivers.
We didn't give her the commentator jinx, luckily.
Yeah, she is immune. All right, finishing up, anchors on floor and on beam. For New Hampshire, Alyssa Worthington. And for Pitt, Lauren Beckwith.
Oh, gosh. Don't know what happened there with that layout step out because her front foot was on just fine. A little low chest position on that 1.5, but nice stretch through those straddle elements. Another stunning performance from New Hampshire, and she is a beam and floor specialist, and she really showed that today. Absolutely gorgeous performances on both those events. Showed why she's been an Eagle Specialist of the Week this season. Absolutely,
and with that, competition is concluded. All of the routines are in the books. We've still got some final scores to total up, so we're going to take a moment and do just that. Temple's number is final, 196.025. Does anyone have enough to be able to catch the Owls? And then the converse of that question, will that number stand up through this evening's session of the top 4 teams in the conference? Plenty to talk about. When we come back here, we'll wrap up the 4th rotation and get you set for the evening session here from George Washington when we come back. Everyone, first session is in the books. Temple, UNH, LIU, and Pitt have completed their turn, and the other 4 teams in the Eagle will get their chance in the evening. But Christina, some really terrific highlights throughout this whole day, but in the 4th rotation as well, some great notes for these teams to leave on.
Absolutely. You know, New Hampshire didn't have the performance they wanted on beam, but had some gorgeous performances on floor. And you know, Pitt, again, did not have the day that they were hoping on across all 4. You know, ended in the 193s, not going to be able to challenge for that Eagle title. LIU, you know, had a really nice bar rotation. They had some struggles on beam, but really had a good vault rotation, and then were really strong on bars as well. Capped off, of course, by Mara Titar-Soleil's 9.95. That's going to be a difficult, and that's Ella Castellanos there. That's going to be a difficult routine to match, score to match, rather.
Definitely, even with the talent in the evening session. And you mentioned it, Christina. Beam just got in Pitt's way, got in everyone's way except for Temple today.
Exactly.
That was it.
Yeah, it was. You know, and even some of those even some of those teams that we thought would be their stronger events. And this, we're just taking a look. This is gorgeous. Everything, the toe point right on top of the bar. I'm so glad that she's getting the recognition that she deserves, because to be frank, the scoring in Eagle is stricter than in some of the other conferences, the Pac-12s, SECs. And, you know, leotard bias is a real thing. And I think it is such a great thing that they are recognizing the greatness that is Marty Tarzolet's bars.
No doubt about that. And as we said already, UNH has got to feel really good about the way that they walked off the floor. Was not at all the number that they would have wanted today, but they got some good numbers late. A couple of 9.85s from Kennedy Brown, Haley Louis, 9.8s from Kylie Gorgani, Gracie Mowers, and Alyssa Worthington. All right, so with all that said, the final score is Temple cracks a 196, albeit barely, but they are the clubhouse leader, and that's the number that the 4 teams this evening are going to have to go out and beat. 196.025 for the Owls. Second place, New Hampshire, 194.4. Third place, LIU, 193.950. Pitt, with their struggles on beam in the final rotation, takes fourth with a 193.525. And Christina, so you look at this again, beam was the story of the day. Beam, Temple goes 48.975, shade off that 49 mark. The other teams, 47.2 for Pitt, 47.575 for New Hampshire, 47.750 for LIU.
Yeah.
Almost, you know, over a full point in each of those cases, and you know, nothing you can do to overcome going in the 47s on beam.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, we do refer often in gymnastics to beam being that make or break event. Definitely was the case here. You know, Temple scoring in the 196. I don't think that number is going to hold up in the evening session. As we discussed earlier, I think we're going to see a number in the mid to high 196s as the champions. But I think of all the teams here, Temple can be most pleased with their performance. Such a gritty performance, as you said.
Let's welcome the teams back to the floor and give them a round of applause. Please welcome the UNH Wildcats.
196.025, the number for Temple. And again, that is the number to beat. And it's a tough feeling, right? Because you've got until 6 p.m. tonight. Technically speaking, that can hold up. Not likely to, as you said, with some great talent tonight. We're really looking forward to being back here at 6 p.m. this evening for Towson, UNC, George Washington, NC State, and we will officially crown the 2022 Eagle Championship. So.
Yeah, you know, I think that this is, we're going to see some great gymnastics tonight. You know, each of these teams had some struggles today. Again, talked about Temple overcoming some adversity, particularly that injury to Ariana Castronce on floor on her double out. So again, thinking of her, sending her our best. And stay tuned. And stay tuned, we're going to have some really exciting gymnastics this evening. It is anyone's game tonight when we come on at 6 p.m. So please join us again then.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for us in the afternoon session. Stick around as the teams are being brought back out. We'll have some awards and high scores recognized. But again, the final scores will be the ones that matter at the end of the evening session tonight. We'll see if some of these great performances stand up. But for right now, for Christina Chauvenet, our entire production crew here at the Smith Center, I'm Kevin Kopp saying so long from Washington, D.C. Temple, the leader at the moment with a 196.025. And we'll see how that stacks up against the evening session of the Eagle Championship. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.
0.4